Good day, folks. Welcome to another video. I'm glad you guys were able to join me this evening. Well, this evening. Well, so should black men think about voting for Kamala Harris? Well, by the end of the video, I will have my opinion on that question. Well, as many of you realize, Harris has been criticized by a lot of people of the black community for not having any type of agenda beneficial to the black community. Now, of course, she's also been criticized by people of other communities as well. She's also been criticized by white America, obviously, because she doesn't really have an agenda that's even beneficial to American people in general, regardless of ethnicity. But, apparently with Harris, she's panicking right about now. The Democrat Party is panicking right about now. They got the big players in the game that's joining forces with Harris, helping her with her campaigning, I guess. You got Obama that's been speaking for her, and you even got uh, President, ex-President Clinton that was speaking for her as well. So the Democrat Party is desperate for the black vote. And apparently they're focusing on the black male vote. So yeah, they're panicking right about now. They're desperate. They don't, obviously they don't want Donald Trump to win. So they're I guess they're pulling a few tricks out the sleeve to see which one will work the best. So anyways, Harris has what is called the opportunity agenda for black men. And what exactly is she talking about in this agenda? Let's see what she's talking about. Forgivable business loans for black entrepreneurs. Now, on the surface, that sounds wonderful. That sounds great. I mean, obviously, as a black man myself, we need more black businesses in America. I think it would help with the black unemployment. So, on the surface, that sounds wonderful. Now, my question to her is my question in general is she going to hold true to that promise? You know what? That's going to be a question I will answer later. I'm going to keep on going here. Forgivable business loans for black entrepreneurs. Well, here's my only problem with that. Why are we only getting a loan? Why doesn't she paper up the black community the way she papered up every other ethnic community? Why are we getting a loan? How come we're not getting a grant? A grant, not a loan, a grant. And for those of you that don't know the difference, a grant is actually money that they're giving you. A loan is what it is. It's a loan. You gotta pay that shit back. So why are we getting a loan? We ought to be getting a grant. So that's my problem with that one. Now, okay, now the second plan that she's got is fund studies for diseases that affect black men, and the example that they provided was sickle cell. Okay, I can respect that. I can respect that. Because in order for that to happen, that's you're gonna need people to work those jobs. So I would say, as long as you got American citizens working those positions in the lab, I can respect that. Now the third one is Harris supports the legalization of marijuana. And she supports the legalization of marijuana. Now, part of her plan with that is Harris's plan will include providing black men the opportunity to participate in the national cannabis industry. Okay, what the hell does that mean? I mean, she doesn't give any specifics of how she's gonna make that happen. I mean, how is she gonna include, be able to? I mean, how is she gonna do that? I mean, how do you participate in the cannabis industry? Obviously, in order to, I mean, I'm not a genius. I'm just an average Joe who works a 9 to 5 as a custodian and a slash a maintenance person. But the last time I knew, in order to grow any type of, in order to grow cannabis, you need to own land so you can grow the stuff. So I guess under this, I mean, is she gonna provide funding for more black men to be able to purchase the land necessary to grow the stuff? Because that's going to be the only way that black men are going to be able to participate in the cannabis industry is if they own is if more of us own land to where we can grow the stuff. So that part of her plan, I mean, again, for some of you on the surface, it might sound great, but for people like myself who try to think critically here, there's a lot missing. I mean, like I said, is she going to provide funding for black men to be able to purchase land the same way she's done for other groups over the last few years that she's been in office? Just a question. Now the next one, now the next plan is uh, she's she's going to call for better regulations on cryptocurrency to protect black men and others who invest in digital assets. Again, I don't have any problem with her regulating that stuff more. It ought to be regulated more because in the past you did have a lot of people that lost a lot of money because they invested in digital assets and they lost a lot of money. So I don't have an issue with that one. Now, this is supposed to be an opportunity agenda for black men. Now, that last one clearly was not only for black men. That, as far as I'm concerned, that's for everybody. And it even says black men and others, which, again, I personally don't have an issue with her uh, putting more regulations on cryptocurrency. So those are the 4 points under her opportunity agenda for black men that she's talking about. Well, now I'm going to answer the question. Will I encourage black people to vote for Harris? Hell no. Am I going to vote for Harris? Definitely a hell no. For me, it's going to still be the Trump or the couch. Because to me, I mean, here's my issue that I have with Harris. I mean, obviously, I do not have anything good to say in general about the Democrat Party. I'm not saying the Republicans are a bunch of angels too, because they're not. But the Democrat Party, in my opinion, they really take the cake. Now, my issue that I have with Harris at this point is, for one, if she genuinely, from her heart, wanted to do anything for black men, or for that matter, for the black community, she would have came out way sooner than this and said and stated what she wanted to do. And when she made that statement several months ago, talking about, oh no, she can't do anything Pacific. Well, I forget how long ago that statement was, but when she made that statement talking about she's not going to do anything specifically for black people, even though we've seen her do stuff specifically for other groups of people. I'm sorry, but I'm stuck on that one. And I know there's a lot of you out here that are critical thinkers that are stuck on that one too, as you should be. And for that, we need to hold that woman's feet to the fire. And honestly, some of what she's talked about sounds good, but another problem I have with Harris is I don't believe a damn thing that she says. I think what's going on right now is the Democrat Party is desperate. She's desperate to get presidency over Donald Trump. So, given the Democrats Party's history for screwing over black people, for screwing over black Americans, given Democrats history for outright lying to black people about what they're going to do that's good, and then when they get in, they don't do any of it. Resources that they promise black people, when they get in, they find a way to either take those resources and give them to somebody else, or we just don't get our resources all together. But anyway, it's where it goes. We don't get those resources. So, given the Democrat Party's history of basically being a bunch of scumbag liars, I don't believe a damn thing that woman says. I don't believe a damn thing that comes out of that woman's mouth. And I'm hoping that black people, men and women, don't fall for any of this bullshit that Harris is trying to say now. And some of this stuff sounds good. Like, okay, let's talk about the forgivable business loans for black entrepreneurs. Like I told you a second ago, it shouldn't be loans; it should be a grant. But even if it was a grant, uh, my question is, if you, I mean, if Harris gets in the White House, most likely she's going to continue to do what she's been doing the last 4 years, which is to continue to flood the country with illegals and illegal immigrants and migrants, which are going to take jobs that black men and women mainly work. Now, obviously, they're going to take jobs away from white folks as well who work blue collar. And there's even going to be, and most likely, she'll probably bring in some of her people that might be a little bit more educated, and they might take some of the white collar jobs that a higher number of Caucasian men and women work right now. So Harris, as we all should know by now, is no good for the country, and she's no good for Black America. Like, but what I was gonna say was, what good is any of this gonna? What good is any of this gonna do if Black men and women are unable to find employment? And now, I understand you're going to have a lot of white folks out of work as well if Harris gets in the presidency, most likely. But the reason why I keep talking about black men and women is because this agenda that Harris has got, well, mainly she targets, well, mainly it's supposed to be for black men, but I say black men and women. So, for those of you that are listening that may not be black, no, I'm not no bigot. Because I know some of you might think that, but I'm not. But the forgivable business loans for black entrepreneurs, in my opinion, that's going to do not one lick of good. If you have a bunch of black men that are out of work due to their positions being taken by illegals and migrants. And the legalization of marijuana, again, what good is that going to do? I mean, she talks about how black men are going to, she's going to, in some way, help black men participate in the cannabis industry. But again, what good is that going to do if you have a bunch of black men that are out of work and have no money, and therefore they're not going to be able to take out any loans, because with a loan you got to pay it back. How you going to pay back a loan if you ain't got no money? You're not. And Harris did discuss briefly about the forgivable business loans, which, okay, they're forgivable. So that means whoever you take your loan out through, they can choose to forgive your loan or they can choose to not forgive your loan. So the forgiveness of your loan is at the discretion of the people that you take your loan out from. So there is no guarantee that your loan will be forgiven. So that forgivable business loan stuff is bull crap as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, it should not be a loan; it should be a grant. And if you're not working, you're not going to be accepted for a loan anyway. So you're not buying that land to grow that marijuana. So that's all BS as far as I'm concerned. And how the hell are you going to invest in any type of digital currency when you ain't got no damn job? You're not. And I want all of you, black, white, whoever the hell is watching right now, to bear in mind. Now, I mean, for those of you that talk about, well, we don't really know Harris that well, we don't really know her policies that well, you know what? And again, I'm just 9 to 5 worker. I'm just 9 to 5 worker. I'm not a genius here, but when I look at some of the shenanigans that she pulled when she was in California, when I look at the shenanigans that she's been pulling in the last 4 years as vice president, one can only assume that if she makes presidency, she's going to continue to pull many other same shenanigans to the American people. And if she really, truly wanted to do anything for black people, period, man or woman, then why hasn't she done anything for black people the last 4 years that she's been in White House? That she done been in the White House. And as far as it goes for Obama speaking up on the behalf of Harris, Obama's trying to, make black men feel some kind of ways. So we go out here and we vote for this so-called imaginary first black woman, Indian woman, but whatever. I digress. But you know, I don't think Obama realizes that from the time that he ran as from the time that he was president to today, the the black voting bloc is not the same as it was back then. You got more blacks now than ever before that are a little bit more critical when it comes to their vote than they were before. And I believe that Obama lost a little bit of credibility among the black community because let's not forget, Obama was president for 8 years. And during the 8 years that that man was president, he has not done not one thing for black people. Not one. So let's not forget about that. So for me personally, when I hear Obama speak the way he was speaking, it goes in one ear and it goes out the other because that's exactly what I think of the man. So with all that being said, I'm going to say this once again. Black people, men and women, don't fall for this BS that Harris is trying to pull over our heads. As it goes for me, I'm not going to fall for it. As it goes for me, it's going to still be Donald Trump on the couch. Stay blessed. I forgot to add one thing to this video, which is very important. Since Harris wants the black male vote so badly, why doesn't Harris add this one very important thing? Just like she granted the Asian community a hate crime bill. Why doesn't I mean, back when the Asian community were granted their hate crime bill, why didn't they at least include African Americans or all black people on that bill? And secondly, why didn't she mention having a hate crime bill for black people? I mean, the last time I knew, Black people, uh, especially black men, are most likely to become a victim of a hate crime in the United States than any other people of any other ethnicity. So that's something else that every black person ought to think about before you get into your emotions and you vote for Harris because of some dumb ideology that you may have in your head about her. That's nothing, and that's another big issue that I have about Harris slash the Democrat Party. As black people, as black Americans, we've been voting Democrats for 60 years and ain't got a goddamn thing out of it. Not even a fucking hate crime bill. So stay blessed. I'll catch you guys on the next one.